Earth is flat.
Said Cleet, begrudgingly.
What are you, narrating my life?
Yeah. I don't know if I'd have time for that or the patience.
So I don't think that I've seen rain like that in just a little bit. It was like hate rain.
Oh, it was horrible. And it's
so
worse.
aggressive.
10 minutes that way. Literally, there was cars that were driving 4 miles an hour because the wind was just throwing this fucking rain across the road.
The day the rain felt hate.
I wish we could get rain like this at my house. It rains for like 4 minutes and then decides, I'm good.
It's cool.
And we need the rain.
My sprinklers broke, so maybe I just
They
won't turn
broke
them on.
again?
Yeah, it's just this little PVC valve. It's a little elbow, and it just cracks under the pressure like every 2 months.
You can turn the pressure down.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so with my system. It's built in the 70s, man.
Yeah, well. So you need the rain then. So
Yeah.
hate rain to go with it.
So we have a special episode for you. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about what we're drinking tonight because it is the creme of the creme.
Super premium beer called Himalayan Snowman.
I like it. I love that name.
And it doesn't say the brewery.
But there's like a Yeti. There's a Yeti on there. And yeah, I feel like I just got some hair on my chest.
Yeah. But I was just telling Cleet, like, I must be such a good guy to show up a super premium beer. And then I walk in one week and he's like, I got y'all Bud Light.
Oh, yeah, I was very happy because every time we go out for a work adventure and I order like a Bud Light, he's like, meh, you get no Bud Light, he makes a scene. I only like good beers, fancy microbrew beers.
I do say that one. That or like, hey, you got
Gets
the
all
water.
smug.
It's like urinal water. It looks like urinal water.
Let me go in my Prius and sniff my own.
You want to finish that sentence there, pal?
I can't.
No, you can. Yeah, I think you should.
Shats?
Oh, sniff my own shats. But, it's actually really good beer. I'm actually not disappointed. I wish we would have opened it like we normally do, but it had this weird, bottle cap.
Pull-off
and
cap.
Cleats whistled. It whistled at him.
Yeah, sometimes it whistles.
And mine started to leak. And I was like, oh, last week I dropped a beer. It exploded. This week I'm like dripping beer all over. So I think it's just destined that Cleet's room be full of beer.
I think you just don't respect me or my house.
I don't.
All right, so we have a good topic tonight. We're going to be talking about phobias.
Oh, phobias.
I'll tell you, I feel like phobias are generally characterized by being a child. When you're a kid, you have a ton of phobias, but sometimes they go into adulthood and they can be strange and weird. You know, you just have some experience that sticks with you for some reason. Mm-hmm. Gives you a phobia for the rest of your life unless you get some type of, behavioral counseling or you somehow get over it yourself.
Right. And that was actually kind of the segue that I wanted to cover. And I was going to ask you, like, do you know the difference between a fear and a phobia?
I think a phobia would be something that becomes like it's degradation on how you operate in your normal life. It causes you to do behaviors like avoidance, and it really just is a negative overall experience on your life because of it, because it becomes so extreme.
That's deep. I mean, you're not far off. I mean, I pulled the question from the internet, and the internet is never wrong. So what I found, the difference between fear and a phobia, fear is a natural emotion that protects people from harm when they face real and imminent danger, whereas a phobia is an excessive fear or anxiety related to specific objects or situations that are out of proportion to the actual danger they present.
It makes sense because do you know where fear comes from in the brain?
The medulla oblongata?
The amygdala.
It was
and,
close.
Sometimes, it can literally be trained by outside forces, whether it's, B.F. Skinner, he kind of covered that, or was it Ivan Pavlov? Anyways, you can be conditioned to fear something. It's just weird.
Yeah. Well, the brain works in mysterious ways.
So, since I asked, did you have any weird phobias when you were a kid that weren't natural? Now, I'd say being scared of the dark is a pretty natural fear.
Yeah.
But did you have any unnatural fears?
I don't know if I'd quite call it a phobia, but I hate and hated spiders. Absolutely hate them.
Okay.
And I have a story that I'll tell when we actually jump into one of the phobias that I'm covering.
I'll give you one.
I have quirks, but not phobias.
What's yours? I was afraid of the toilet when I was being potty trained. Terrified.
So was my brother, actually.
Shit out of me. I'd jump off and just run. Sometimes I forget to flush. You gotta go, man.
You're just dropping little nuggets as you're running.
Yeah, I never did that, but I sometimes I forgot to flush to the behest of my brothers and sisters.
Oh, so they just walk in. There's a big old log on there.
Yeah.
Nice. No, my brother would probably kill me for telling you, but like he was terrified of the toilet as well. Like specifically, he didn't like to poop on it, but he had a fascination with toilets. Like he would flush every toilet he found. We went to Home Depot. He's down the toilet aisle for some reason. Loved hoses and stuff, but like he wouldn't shit. So he just wouldn't shit on the toilet. And so my mom got this idea of buying this little like treasure
Duct
chest.
tape? Oh, okay,
No.
never mind.
Completely different avenues.
Duct taped him to the toilet.
You're gonna shit, and you're not gonna leave until that's out of your
Turn
ass.
off the lights, leave them in there, shut the door.
Have a happy poop. Just like sneaks out and locks the door. All the
Check
padlocks.
on you every 2 hours. If there's a poop, I'll let you go.
That came later. How it started with was she bought this little this little toy chest for the front of the toilet, and she bought a bunch of Hot Wheels. So every time he took a shit, he got a toy. And so then it became like he was trying to poop just to get a toy. He didn't have to poop, but he was trying to push so hard to poop to get a Hot Wheels out of there. And I used to have to read him books while he was taking a shit.
Oh, wow.
But that's interesting, a fear of toilets.
Yeah.
Do you still have this phobia?
Yeah, still. They chase me.
I mean, you have dreams of constant
I'm seeing
clogged
themes
toilets.
now. I really do.
It's like your childhood coming back to haunt you.
God. Flush away your fears.
Yeah, right. I have quirks because I'm mildly OCD. I have such a weird thing with like utensils and cups in my cupboard because I've had so many experiences where I take a cup and it's still like dirty and it's got like I have to like inspect the cup and I'll even like smell the cup before I put anything in it. My wife hates it. She's like, it's so weird. I'm like, but I can't physically drink out of a cup unless I know it's clean.
I've always been the type of guy that's like germs are good for my immune system. So if there's a little speck or some dust, I don't fucking care.
Okay, speck and dust is different, but when you take a drink of your
What
coffee,
did you find in your cup?
well, I mean, but like if you've got like a little bit of like dried food at the bottom, and you take a sip of coffee and you get like half an omelet that goes down with it, it's disgusting. And you can't convince me that it's not.
Half an omelet.
I'm being exaggerative here, but
How do you eat in your house? You're just no.
with my coffee, no, it's in the coffee mug. I'm not saying I just ingest half an omelet.
I just imagine you're so messy it flies into your cup.
Yeah, no, it's from the cup from the washing machine that didn't clean it. You know what I'm saying? But I found 3 phobias, 2 of which I do have a little bit of myself. I don't know if I'd go quite to the point that I have a phobia, but I picked 3. How many did you end up grabbing?
4 or 5.
Sweet. And there are no shortage of phobias out there. Some of them are completely bizarre, but so you have more. Let's have you start with one of your first ones.
All right. So this might be a joke, but I found it on 2 different websites about what it is and someone
God.
giving their personal testimony about this phobia.
You just found some random, give me your phobia.
This one's called
I got cleitophobia.
dumpster phobia.
I'm calling bullshit immediately.
All
It's
right.
called dumpster phobia.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to say it doesn't exist, but
Dumpster phobia. Don't be making
It
fun
is
of people that have a fear of dumpsters. So dumpster phobia is people who obviously fear dumpsters.
obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else it's the fear of pebbles.
The organizational design of trash collection.
What?
Kidding.
I was like, so it's not a dumpster, it's the trash collection piece. Like
Damn you, waste
the
management.
garbage truck comes down the road. He's like, I got to get the fuck out of here.
And most times, people that are suffering from this purposely avoid coming into contact with the things that trigger them to experience fear and anxiety in the first place.
Rationally.
Sometimes the people suffering from dumpster phobia, which
Can't
which
even
is
take it
a
seriously.
thing, phobia,
Which is a thing. I will reiterate. It is a thing.
they try to avoid not only the exact objects, in this case dumpsters, or situations that trigger it, but sometimes in severe cases, the thought of those things altogether. So they're just like, don't think of dumpsters. Don't think of dumpsters.
Do they have a problem like throwing things away in their home?
Yeah. I could imagine like someone just thinking about that, and I just barge through the front door in like scuba gear, and I'm like, we're going dumpster diving.
I wonder if these individuals have like trash cans in their home.
Yeah,
How
I
they
don't know.
dispose of trash.
I just imagine there's like they just get anxiety when their trash can fills. Like, not today, not
It's like,
today.
this just means the trash man a cometh.
So here is a personal experience of someone supposedly suffering from this phobia.
His name is Cleet.
Yeah, right. It's me.
It's me. This is the Dumpster Phobia creation blog.
Every week or so, I make a detour in my parking lot as I leave the building in the morning. I drag a trash bag full of cat poop, orange mango, pineapple juice containers, and other assorted items to the garbage bin.
I'm curious about these other assorted items.
That's so
He chose to specifically say cat litter and mango and orange juices, but the other items are so random.
He's got to be trolling. I always make sure to put my keys in my pocket before taking this journey, lest I accidentally throw them into the garbage bin. I can't think of a worse way to start the day than digging through a garbage bin for keys. The best days are when the giant plastic flap on the top of the garbage bin is already open, and I can fling my trash bag in from a distance. But those days are few and far between in this world of sanitation and rabid squirrels.
I just imagine his neighbors seeing him from across the parking lot just throwing this
He
garbage
misses
bag.
and just goes back.
He's like,
in.
fuck! Or it rips halfway through and just throws garbage all over the fucking parking lot. I don't know if I believe this one.
I think it's hilarious.
It is hilarious, but I think it's some guy trolling.
So upon reaching the bin, I gingerly lift up the very corner of the plastic flap, touching it with as little skin as possible, knowing that when the ordeal is over, I'll somehow find myself putting that same hand inside my mouth, instantly infecting myself with some of the germs of my miscreant neighbors.
Oh my god.
Just going into this.
So I'm worried that he has other phobias because he's worried about throwing his keys away specifically, from what I gathered, and he's worried about the germs on the trash. I don't think he actually has a phobia of the trash can.
No, because if the keys go in the can, he's got to go in there.
But it sounds like he's got a germ thing.
What if the flap shuts and he's stuck in there forever for some reason?
Stuck under the plastic flap. I think you can bust out of it.
I don't know. What if he breaks his leg? What if he breaks his arms and legs?
Then he's going to die in a trash can, and his phobia has come full circle.
As I lift the flap, I cower in anticipation of the wildlife that might come hurling at me. The aforementioned squirrels, along with birds, raccoons, wombats, kittens. You do not mess with garbage kittens.
What the fuck is this guy on about?
Rats and sewer nymphs.
Sewer nymphs? Sewer nymphs. This guy is absolutely trolling. Look, I'm here for it, but like...
When nothing happens, I toss my trash into the bin and I immediately let go of the flap, hoping that my speed will limit the amount of bacteria that jumps onto my hand. But in doing so, the falling flap propels a gust of trash air in my direction. You smelt that though, right? The trash air from the bin.
Yeah, it just... I get that sometimes because we have a cat and I have to run it out to the outside bins, and you shut that thing, the littered air wafts into your lungs.
Oh,
yeah, it sucks.
And let's be honest, trash air is the worst. I don't know how often they really clean out those containers, but I'm guessing it's about as long as Lindsay Lohan makes healthy life choices.
Oh, oh, oh. Get him!
Trash air is like being slapped in the mouth with a rotten egg wrapped in feces.
Jesus.
Try not to laugh.
This
It's
guy
disgusting.
This guy's just leaving no details behind.
Finally, I walk away, relieved of the garbage, and fortunate that I wasn't attacked by garbage kittens, completely oblivious to the fact that I've already stuck my hand in my mouth. I really need to stop doing that.
Oh, those sewer nymphs.
You know, you're probably making fun of this gentleman, and he's up all night when his trash is full, sweating in a panic, knowing that he's going to have to see garbage kittens the next day.
Yeah, he probably walks in on his couch and just stares at his hands like, I've touched the trash so many times
mouth.
with this. Why am I sucking on my hands now?
So yeah, dumpster phobia.
Oh, wow.
You're like, Cleet, what the fuck's your problem?
Hey, look, it was entertaining. I still don't think it's real, but that's fine. All right, well, if you suffer from dumpster phobia, just know it's going to be all right. Garbage men are doing good things by removing the trash from your vicinity.
You'll never have a career in waste management.
Never say never. All right. So the first phobia I'm going to be covering, which is one that I alluded to at the very beginning, is arachnophobia, which, as you can guess, is the fear of spiders.
Good movie.
I never saw it.
I used to see it when I was a kid. It would scare me. I don't know if it's actually good.
Is it a movie or a series?
I don't remember.
Because it was funny because I was trying to find arachnophobia stories online, and it just kept popping up with that fucking movie. I'm like, I've never seen it. I didn't even know it was a movie.
Yeah.
Have you seen Eight-Legged Freaks? That was a pretty good movie.
I did not.
Giant fucking spiders.
I did not see it.
It's good. It is good. I still need to go see Candyman. I want to go see Candyman.
I need to go see
I've heard it's really good.
Candyman.
Candyman. Oh shit, who's that? He's got a pocket full of candy. Arachnophobia. It's actually one of the top phobias. Fear of spiders. And this one I can relate to a little bit. I don't know if I would call it a phobia. I don't like spiders. I fucking hate them. And I have my own story I'm going to share, and then I'll share someone else's story. So when we were little, we used to go to the Grand Canyon every year with my grandparents, and we used to stay in these log cabins. And obviously, you're in the middle of the forest next to the Grand Canyon. It was awesome. But, one day I was, we're just kind of hanging out in front of the cabins. My grandpa's playing the guitar. It's nice and peaceful. And I decided to go back in the cabin, and I went to grab my watch. I had a digital watch, and I had it on this little desk. And I went to grab it, and it fell into the trash can next to the desk. And I'm like, oh, shit, well, I guess I better grab my watch. So I reach in to the garbage can, and a fucking wolf spider the size of my hand runs up my arm. And I scream like the biggest little bitch you've ever seen. Oh, dude, I whipped my arm. I was freaking out. I started bawling. I was terrified. Like, this thing literally was massive. It was the biggest wolf spider I've ever seen to this day. And it ran up my arm, and since then, I can't handle spiders. I can't do it. It fucked me up for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I'm scared of spiders, too. I think I told you the story when I was driving on the freeway. In Utah, we call it I-15.
Interstate 15.
And I was driving. I just looked to the left of me, and there was just a spider, like, just parallel to my eyes because it had a little web from the
just
ceiling.
Hanging from the ceiling?
And there was, like, a war in my brain because the emotional side, like started, like, you need to panic. You need to, like, freak out and kill it.
But you're on I-15.
Yeah, and then, like, my more... logical side is like, Cleet, you gotta calm down. Don't be rash here.
You just gotta suck it up and go,
It was the worst. I had to grab a piece of paper and just kill it. Like, ooh, gross.
Yeah. Was it just like a tiny little guy?
It was like the size of a nickel.
Oh, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Actually. In your car?
Yeah. Dude, it was not cool.
Yeah. I haven't experienced many spiders in my car. The other week, though, there was a black widow on our doorstep.
Oh, no, really?
On our door frame. And... I thought it was dead because we have routine bug sprayers that come out. I'm like, oh, it's dead. My wife's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, it's not moving. And I get a shoe and I knock next to it and it crawls at me. I'm like, fuck that. And I smash it real quick. I've been bit by a black widow once. I was helping my grandpa move lumber and it wasn't fun. But yeah, so arachnophobia is a really big one. Obviously, terrified fear of spiders. So I found this story online. When I was in 3rd grade, my family moved to a small town called Palatka, Florida. It's near Jacksonville.
I like Florida. It's like mini Texas.
Have you been to Florida?
No, but I want to.
I feel like the spiders in Florida are like the spiders in...
I've heard about that. My cousin went on a mission there. He told me about it. They're huge.
I just feel like it's like Australia. Everything there wants to fucking kill you.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. Those camel spiders? No thanks. We briefly rented a house while my parents found a more permanent residence. Upon moving out of the rental house, my dad was going to move a tarp that our boat had been under, but hadn't been used since moving into our new home and being there for a few months. Bad move. There's going to be a spider colony.
Amen.
He yanked the tarp and just kind of laid it down on the ground. Everything seemed normal until I saw a rather big spider crawling around the edge of the boat, and I kind of said, Dad, look out, it's a big spider. Dad swats the spider, which was about the size of his very large hands.
Oh, man.
Ugh. Spider goes splat.
No, the spider high-fived him back.
Yeah. They just got up and started like...
High five!
Going to fisticuffs. Gross, but all seemed well. Then I looked down at the tarp. The tarp was moving. Oh, fuck that. Nope. That's when you burn the house out and get a new one. It was pulsating. I pointed it out to Dad, who walked over and flipped to the other side. Upon doing so, I nearly died from sheer horror. There were hundreds, maybe even thousands of spiders under the tarp that my dad had been handling with general ease and disregard. How do you even handle that situation?
I'd run away. I'd push you down and run.
Oh, you're like, you shove
Kill
me into
him.
the spiders?
Kill him.
You only have to outrun the slowest person.
Yeah.
At least half of them were as big as the one he had just killed. So big man hand size spiders. Or women. I mean, yeah, hey, maybe there's women who have that. I'm not gonna.
No, what you mean
generalize.
is man hands are ugly and lady hands are pretty.
The size.
Yeah,
okay,
I know.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's what I meant. Grotesque, nasty, big man hands. They began to spread across the ground like a scene out of Arachnophobia. Hey, there you go.
Oh, man.
My entire family was now darting across the yard, except for my dad, who was now laughing at us and stomping on spiders.
That's funny.
He's just laughing, stomping like it's a barrel of grapes.
It's like a video game, really.
Right. From there, everything kind of fades out, but I distinctly remember having to flee from large spiders throughout the house for the next several days as we were moving furniture out. See, that's the problem. You disrupt their current place, they're going to find somewhere else to go, right in your fucking sheets.
Have you seen those daddy long leg nests? Like, where they're just a fucking mass of them?
Yeah, I don't like it. And the thing is, I don't know if it's true. I don't know. Maybe you can clear it up. But like the rumors, like they're the most poisonous spiders, but their mouths are too small to bite.
That's
It's
not
just
true.
always a rumor I've heard.
Yeah, if I gave you $1,000, would you punch it?
Yes,
You
I would punch it for $5.
Oh.
A daddy long leg? Are you kidding?
No, like one of their mass nests.
Oh, the nest.
There's like thousands of them. Just punch it.
How much money?
$1,000.
Yes.
All right.
Would you not do it for $1,000?
I would.
If you had $1,000 cash and said, "Go punch that spider nest," I would do it.
What about a headbutt?
No,
Yeah, I wouldn't do
that's
that
going too
either.
far. Especially because I have a beard and they would find a new home.
Yeah.
Ah, God, that makes me sick. I fucking hated that house. Fuck spiders. That's what he goes to say.
Oh, okay.
So he has a little bit of a follow-up. He said, also, those other big spiders that were hiding under the tarp, I went looking for them. I knew from a dockhand telling me one time to always double-check your bananas.
Yeah, because spider bananas, I've heard of them.
Yeah. Banana spiders, you mean?
Yeah.
Spider bananas?
Yeah.
Like, walking
They hitch a ride on bananas.
It's a banana
No,
spider.
I understand that's what they're called, but you can still call them spider bananas because that's how they travel.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
It's not their official name, Britain. Britain.
Britain? What did I have D in my name?
Britain.
Dangerous arachnids would come in with them, the bananas being. I knew they were poison enough to kill, but I didn't know how poisonous. Turns out the most poisonous. I know the spider bananas. See, I did the fucking same thing. You got in my head. The banana spiders are really venomous.
Yeah, the spider bananas. I'm so pissed.
Whatever. I'm not going to fight with you on this stupid term. But I swear to God, I love bananas. And if I ever find a spider in my banana, I'm done. I will not eat another one. I fucking hate it.
All right, so this one is called Zia. Hang on.
What?
Zia phobia. I don't know if this is real.
You got two that are fake? Find real phobias. You can do that. It's called the World Wide Web.
I was driving with one of my best friends yesterday when a fire truck came behind us with sirens blaring.
Whoa.
I pulled over to make way. Then I noticed my friend was literally shaking in his seat in a cold sweat.
Fire engines?
I asked him what's wrong, to which he responds, "When I was a kid,
Oh.
I had a reoccurring nightmare about getting run over by fire trucks."
Oh, no. I don't.
It's so stupid. I just
I mean,
imagine
look,
that
it's a
in
phobia.
my head.
It's an irrational fear. Look, my son loves fire trucks. Whenever he hears that, woo, he like claps. He's like, yeah.
I imagine like his dream is like his house is on fire and his family's outside and he's on the road and the
And he's like
fire
flagging
engine
him
comes
down. And they just,
And he's like, "They're gonna save my house," and he just starts running him over and over again.
he's like, "Oh, flag him down," and just runs over him, backs up over him, goes ahead, gets the right parking spot, parallel parks.
Wakes up in a cold sweat. It happened again, Bob. It happened again.
You know that dream about that fire truck I told you about? It happened again.
Ran me over just again.
This time it went over a third time.
All right.
That was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, do another one.
I read it and I'm like, I have to put this in
Okay, yeah,
here.
do another one then.
Nyctophobia.
Nick, the fear of the phobia of people named Nick.
Yeah. Isn't that the fear of
Really?
the dark, dude? Didn't you go over this too?
Wait, what?
Did you go over?
Is that real?
Yeah.
It's a fear of people named Nick?
No, people afraid of the dark.
Oh, I thought I said Nick.
Oh, okay.
The fear of people named Nick.
No.
Oh, Nyctophobia. I don't know.
All my trolls are gone.
Well,
after
dumpster phobia. Okay. Cleet's like aerosol phobia. Walking across carpet phobia.
American flag phobia.
Ooh, I'm terrified. It's supposed to stand for freedom, stands for fear.
All right, nyctophobia. Here's the story. I thought I wasn't afraid of the dark anymore until I had to go down into my apartment complex's basement storage area.
Oh.
Why? Because it's worse than a horror movie basement. I didn't say horror.
A whore's basement?
Yeah.
I had
Those
to
are
go
bad
down
places,
to a
Britain.
whore's basement once.
In my experience, most basements in horror movies are try-hard. Horror movie basements with cliche creepy stuff hand-placed by stage techs.
Right, like dolls and rocking chairs. Maybe a chainsaw dangling from the chandelier.
Yeah, maybe something that goes, Yeah. 5 bats.
A bat!
I'm out of here.
Later.
This basement is an organic horror movie basement.
Horror movie?
Yeah. There's an abandoned clothing dryer in one room, a leaky pipe in the other, a loud boiler room, low ceilings making it impossible to run, and built like a goddamn maze.
Yeah.
There are multiple light switches controlling the same lights for convenience, but in reality, it just makes it easier for someone else to shut off the lights off on you. This happened to me once. I screamed like a little bitch, which scared the guy who turned them off. So he made this "Ayo" noise before we both laughed at each other and wrote it off as "fuck it, this place is factually scary." Of course, my storage area is in the furthest one from the basement entrance. Inside the room where the light switch is, behind the locked cage door. In order to go inside, I have to unlock the padlock while staring past the cage door into the black void. Once it's unlocked, I have to use my phone's flashlight to find the light switch. Finding the light switch requires me to pan the light around the whole fucking storage room. At the far end, there's a shit heap of nonsense that's just perfect for a golem to be squatting on top of, staring at me.
Shit heap of nonsense. That's your whole house.
Yeah. Every damn time I look for the switch, I think, this is it. This is the time I see the reflection of the two eyes staring at me from the top of that pile. On the way out, there's helpful reminders painted on the walls in an artsy old-fashioned font. Lights out, lock it up, and careful, written on the low-hanging air duct. When I first moved in, I asked someone about the storage lockers. I told them I went down to the basement, but didn't see any storage areas. His response was, "Oh, they are at the worst parts. You have to go way deep in there, all past the horrors, and you'll find them eventually." First time going in, a centipede scurried away when I turned on the lights. That's gross. Centipedes are gross.
Yeah.
Afraid of the dark.
Nice.
Nyctophobia.
Yeah. My wife
Right.
absolutely hates centipedes. So did you ever have a fear of the dark growing up? Not like a phobia, but were you ever like at one point in time afraid of the dark?
I was afraid of basements. I hated my basement. It was scary.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't overly fond of my basement either, but like the dark, you never had a problem with the dark.
It was sort of scary. It wasn't like my biggest fear.
The next fear I'm going to be talking about is thalassophobia. Do you know what that is, Clete?
It's like fear of elastics.
False. You don't know? It's a fear of deep water, like a big ocean.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know, I just learned this, there's dead zones in the ocean where there's just no life outside of microbacteria?
Like all the way down?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's like in the middle of the ocean too.
Like what causes that?
I think it has to do with low oxygen content, but I could be wrong on that. Yeah, I don't think the fish can breathe there.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's still weird, though, to think, like, you could jump in there and there's nothing there all the way down. It's like in the middle of the Pacific, too.
Yeah, but the thing is like the thought of being in the middle of the Pacific is scary enough for me, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. I'm not afraid of water. I love to swim, right? Like, I've been in several lakes. I love swimming. But, like, we went deep sea fishing in Hawaii, and I'm sure I've shared this story on the show. And, we kind of cruise around on a boat. You have the line dragging behind the boat. And all day I got one bite and got away. But then after a while, they're like, "Oh, let's stop and you can jump in." I'm like, "There's no way. You will not pay me enough to get in this water. I'm not going to do it." Like, it's gorgeous blue, but you can't see shit. And I'm like, it's miles below me. There's no way.
Yeah.
Like, Cthulhu is hanging out down there. I'm not going in. There's no way.
So there's a theory. I actually learned this off this weird documentary. I'm sorry, I know this is going to be a side quest. That you can actually drink salt water, but the reason why it kills people is because they do it as a last resort.
Yeah.
When
it's already too late.
Yeah, there's a story of this guy who he did a science experiment where he sailed like across the Pacific Ocean with like nothing, And yeah, you just drink the salt water. I guess like he went like 3 months or something. Like it almost killed him, but he was fine.
Almost killed him. That's like the main thing, because I know the salt obviously dehydrates you, but if you're already at the point where you're super dehydrated, I get it. Like if you're like, oh, I can't drink it until the last minute.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, yeah. So thalassophobia, I think I resonate with this one a lot more than any other ones because I just don't like the fact that we've explored less of our oceans than we have of space. It like gives me so much anxiety. I don't like it.
We haven't even searched the bottom of our lakes, let alone the ocean.
Yeah. So anyway, this story, not a diver, but when I was surfing New Zealand's West Coast beach, I felt something wrap around my leg. So I looked down and it was a fishing line. So I tried to pull it up and then the line got heavy. I assumed it was a fish, but as I pulled the line closer, it got really heavy and I began to sink. So I hopped on my board and paddled closer to shore. I slid off my board and was in chest-deep water. My friend came over because he noticed something was wrong. We both pulled the fishing line in and we saw a large silhouette in the water. So we dragged it to the surface and it was a dead body.
Oh, that was like a fish fishing humans.
It's like, I got me a big human.
I got me a human.
Someone rock fishing fell off the rocks last week and was missing. There was a hook stabbed into his neck and the fishing line wrapped around his face and dug into his skin. We brought the dude's body to the shore and called in the lifeguards and threw up due to the lack of his eyes. That'd be difficult to have to see.
Yeah.
Just pull up a dead body with fishing wire wrapped all around his face. This story's kind of crazy. I know you had already known about it. It reminds me of the story of that diver team that found a man who survived for 3 days in an air pocket after a shipwreck. They were on a body recovery mission and were not expecting anyone to be alive, but miraculously he survived for 3 days underwater and apparently had to listen as his crewmates were being eaten by sharks and other fish.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he said sharks swam past him and shit.
No, thanks.
And he only had a couple, I think it was Cokes or Pepsis to drink. And when the scuba divers went down there to get him, they didn't even expect anyone to be alive. And he only had like an hour left of oxygen in his little air pocket. It's pretty legit.
Can you imagine coming up, you're like, oh, hey, he's like, I got like half a Pepsi left. You're welcome to it.
He talks about he still wakes up in the middle of the night afraid that he's stuck underwater or in a room and he knows he won't be able to be saved. Yeah.
Well, I mean, apparently, according to this article, there's a video. I don't know. That's terrible to me. The thought of suffocating underwater, knowing there's a bunch of sharks and your friends and colleagues have all been eaten alive. No thanks.
Well, remember, you can't even swim up because he was so far down that decompression was happening or compression was happening. So they literally had to get the scuba divers had to help him go up. And it took him an hour to surface because they had to just, decompress the nitrogen out of his system. So you had to go up really slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the people that go diving and then they get on a plane.
I take it back. They put him in a special cell that you can pressurize, and they brought him up, and
I see.
A decompressor thing.
Well, because it was a body recovery mission. So, I mean, they didn't expect to find people, but they had equipment for if they had found somebody alive.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. Well, that's thalassophobia. I fucking hate it.
Yeah. Gross. So this one's ovophobia.
The fear of ovaries.
No, the fear of eggs.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, well, not far off.
Yeah.
Ovaries, eggs.
Are you afraid of eggs, man?
No.
If I just threw an egg at your face, would you be scared?
No.
You'd be angry.
In fact, I've got a cute story about it. My son, he's almost 2 years old, started saying eggs, but he goes, eggs, eggs. I don't know why eggs is what he chose. He doesn't eat a lot of eggs, but he has little toy eggs, but he goes, eggs, eggs.
That's
the cutest thing ever. But anyway, on with the ovophobia.
I had a terrifying fear of eggs for several years. It was not reasonable in the least.
I mean, phobias aren't. Go to Denny's, please don't let any eggs near me.
I don't want to grand slam you, motherfucker.
I will grand slam you into the concrete. I shit you not.
But it did have a root cause. Here's how it happened. When I was 4 or 5 years old, I ate an egg salad sandwich and choked on a piece of shell.
Ah.
I'm pretty sure that I just coughed a few times, and my mom was like, "Oh, you must have choked on an eggshell." I'm positive that this was probably the smallest piece of shell at the time, but it really scared me at the time. And I was a little dramatic shit.
Wow.
A few days later, my dad worked and had a family Christmas party, and the entertainment for the evening was a magician. He had to go into this big finale, and he needed a volunteer from the audience. My hand shoots up, and he sees that I'm wearing a bow tie, suspenders, and have 0 front teeth. And that's all he needs to see. My adorable ass headed for the stage. He hands me an egg, and I'm immediately filled with a little dread. He tells me that he's going to get a frying pan, and that he wants me to break the egg into the pan. All I hear is that I can get my revenge on this piece of shit egg that tried to kill me a few days ago. And
oh no, like this kid's like, fuck you, egg, you tried to kill me. Smashes it between his hands.
Oh, yeah. And I smash the shit out of this egg onto the pan. I throw it down with authority and almost made the magician drop the pan. He puts the cover on, lifts the cover, and there's a flash of fire as 2 pigeons, not doves, pigeons, he was a garbage magician, fly out.
He had a fear of dumpsters.
That's how I got dumpster phobia.
My phobia transgressed from eggs to fucking dumpsters.
Unfortunately, I had literally rattled their cage, and they couldn't see because of the super bright stage lights. So instead of flying out over the crowd, they turned around, and one of them flies right into my chest and gets tangled in my suspenders. I start running around the stage screaming and crying with a bird beating its wings against my chest and pecking, trying to escape. It's elastic prison, and I definitely shit my pants in horror, and that's why I'm scared of eggs for 20-something years.
I was hoping the bird would just lay an egg right that moment.
Yeah, it shits an egg in his mouth. Just kidding.
I don't think they shit eggs.
I know.
But that's hilarious. Just shits an egg right in his mouth.
Son of a bitch.
But you weren't expecting that, were you? So I'll wrap us up with a phobia called catoptrophobia. What would you think hearing catoptrophobia?
Fear of countertops.
No. It's not the fear of countertops. That would be countertop phobia. No. Catoptrophobia is the fear of mirrors.
Oh, okay. Do you know what color a mirror is?
Do I know what color a mirror is?
Yeah, they have a color.
Opaque?
No, it's green.
Green.
Yeah.
Oh, on the backside, yeah.
No, the mirror itself is green.
Explain. I don't understand.
Yeah, so mirrors are green. Like if you hold two mirrors,
mirrors are just green. They just are.
If you hold mirrors together and you look at a repeated reflection, you'll see a green hue.
Huh.
They are actually green. Yeah, they're emeraldish.
Like, what facts do you look up when you're like not sleeping? What color is a mirror?
I learned this when I was sleeping. Jesus told me.
What color is a mirror? White.
It's not true.
You're calling the internet a liar.
Read it.
With a faint green tint.
Yeah, it's green.
So it's white with a green tint.
Click
You're
another
wrong.
one. It's not true.
Click another one.
I'm telling you.
Why are mirrors green? Okay, there you go.
No, that's
what
not
is
a true
mirror
definition.
green? Okay. The majority of mirrors that are produced have a green tint to them, giving the reflection a slightly green tint. The green tint in the reflection is created because the mirror's material does not absorb green light wavelengths as efficiently as the wavelengths of the rest of the color spectrum.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's why if you put two mirrors together, you'll see a green hue.
So here's the question then. If you are afraid of mirrors, are you in fact afraid of the color green?
Yeah, you are.
Is that what this is? So catoptrophobia, the fear of mirrors. So this story I found comes from Reddit, from Horny Depp. Nice. Okay. A fear of mirrors. It's pretty weird, maybe even a little pathetic. Everyone uses them or any sort of clear reflective surface any single day. So why am I afraid of them? I guess that's why you'd call it irrational. You hear all these superstitions that ghosts can contact you through mirrors. Mirrors show your inner self. You can see things through them and other sorts of stuff. That's actually what I was going to. Have you seen the movie The Skeleton Key, where the guy has this fear of mirrors because he can see like ghosts?
That's an old show. I've seen Skeleton Key. It's been a long time.
It's pretty good. For me, it's not the surface of the mirror itself or really my own reflection. The fear resides in what lies behind them.
Wall?
Yeah, it's just a wall. Maybe it's just poorly painted or something. What's there when I look away for even a second? What's my reflection doing when I turn away? Why do I find myself smiling when I look into my own eyes?
It's weird because my mirror has a 1 second delay. I'm just kidding.
What? Let me see this mirror. You like look away and you look back, you're still looking away.
Yeah, that'd be fucking weird.
But it sounds like this guy's afraid of like the irrational fear of like not seeing what's there. Like having something be there and not seeing it. I've tried my best to get over my fear, but to no avail. In fact, it only got worse the more I tried. I keep seeing myself smiling. Just a shit-eating grin staring back at my own blank face.
He seems like a weird person that I wouldn't want to associate with.
Wow. Okay.
Like, tell me you disagree.
I mean, I don't disagree.
That's just like, if this guy's being for real,
he's just staring
he
at
has
the
psychological problems.
I mean, okay. I mean, you're not wrong.
Not the dumpster phobia guy. He was.
Yeah.
He was
He was totally in his right mind.
I had to clarify that.
Cat shit and mango juice out to the dumpster, and then sucking on his hand after he gets rid of it from across the parking lot. Yeah, that guy has his eggs in a basket. All his ducks in a row.
Mango juice.
Mango juice, specifically. I've never had fucking mango juice.
It's good, dude. It's really good.
I bet. If I stare too long, I disassociate. It feels like my mind bounces itself off the mirror surface only to knock me in the head. The longer I stare, the more I feel pulled towards it, like it's trying to pull me through, like it's silently beckoning me to go through. It's extremely unsettling, and it's even worse in the dark. I've really been thinking about my phobia and trying to piece together where it started and why it did. I know it started when I was about 13, and it was after a suicide attempt, but I don't know exactly how. Maybe it's because one of the last things I looked at before I blacked out and started hallucinating was myself in a mirror, and this is all some sort of PTSD thing. I personally don't think it's psychological. That's just what my therapist thinks. I think there's something more behind it.
Yeah, dude, that guy needs some like lithium medicine. It's to treat bipolar disorder.
Right. I think there's more to it because in that suicide attempt, I 100% should have died. I took a variety of street drugs, painkillers, and various prescription meds that mostly weren't prescribed to me. My stomach was never pumped. No one in my family took me to a hospital. I was just sitting on the floor against my bed, sitting in my own vomit. I was semi-conscious for a good hour or two in the beginning. Then, all of a sudden, it was nothing. I don't remember closing my eyes or anything. No smell, sight, touch, taste, or sound. Just darkness for what felt like only an hour tops. I woke up on my bed with no one around me, but in new clothes. Checked my phone and saw that it was about 10 hours after I took those drugs. I remember waking up to the smell of burning skin with no actual source. I wanted to explain what happened to me, not for some lame pity party, but to say that I think I did die that day. Somewhere along the line of that drug-induced sleep, I died and was somehow resuscitated. Our brains tend to block out trauma as a sort of defense mechanism, so maybe what I see in mirrors and why I'm so afraid of them is because I'm seeing some weird manifestation of a repressed memory when I died. Or maybe I'm just delusional. I'm guessing you're going with the delusional piece?
Hey, Britton.
Yes.
I thought you'd be afraid of mirrors. You want to know why?
Why?
Because you're ugly.
There's a phobia of ugliness, which I'm going to cover
Every
now.
time I look in a mirror, I'm like, ah!
You're like, fuck, oh god!
Oh my god!
It's just Cleat. Oh, fuck.
Jesus.
Looks like a big old turd. Ah! There is one last thing I'd like to mention, however.
Oh god, here it is.
It's that one last thing, right? This is the piece de la resistance. Ever since then, things have been following me. Silently, and always out of my vision. But sometimes if I'm fast enough, I can see them in the corner of my eye. They watch me, and they like to creep into my dreams as well. I see them in the reflection of my own eyes when I look into a mirror. Just shadows, always standing behind me. Maybe I should have mentioned that last part sooner, huh? I've never been good at explaining things. I tend to always forget one detail that makes everything seem fake, even if I can swear up and down it's true. But if you've had any of the phobias we've talked about, or you want to share one of your phobias with us, send them our way at entertheabysspod@gmail.com.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, as it really gets us out there. And as always, thank you for entering the abyss.
Until next time.